Nothing is real. Your existence is a lie. I'm not making this video to go out there and accuse anybody of anything. I'm not going to say that there is indeed something happening here. I'm just making this video because it's funny. It's funny. It's a coincidence. It's not anything super serious, but it is what it is. And as a result, I do believe it's, at the very least, cool to talk about. So, we're going back to the Nikita Kucherov cap circumvention topic that we discussed earlier that certainly had a lot of people upset, but you know what? It is what it is, as I said. Nothing we can really do about it as peasants just sitting here in our computer chairs, either lying down in bed on our smartphones listening to some random guy talk about hockey on a YouTube video, or in my position, sitting in a chair right in front of my TV, watching Rick and Morty in the background. But you know what? It is what it is, as I said. So I'm not going to get any comments down there. Please, no comments saying, oh, Lego, stop trying to accuse people of whatever. No. Nuh-uh, none of that. So we're revisiting the Kucherov cap circumvention topic that we had earlier, where we spoke about the Tampa Bay Lightning and how they put Nikita Kucherov through a surgery timeline that would have sidelined him for the entire 2021 NHL season, but have him return straight smack dab when the playoffs started, which was a pretty good move from a cap management point of view, because when you have players that don't play in the regular season, you can put them on LTIR. When they're on LTIR, your amount of cap that you're allowed to spend gets bigger because there's a player that you have significant money tied into that is not going to play for you, so you're given the right to spend a little bit more. And now, with the playoffs coming back, we had ourselves the idea that Kucherov would come back too, because in the playoffs there is no salary cap. This is because salary for NHL seasons is paid out during the regular season. All playoff stuff is extracurricular, only for bonus purposes. So, when you get a player back in the playoffs, their cap hit doesn't count, because their contract should, in theory, already be fully paid off. That was the plan for Kucherov, where he would come back in the playoffs, start playing with the Lightning again, and the Lightning would essentially add a $9.5 million player for free, because that's how the salary cap system is structured. Well, the timeline gets a lot funnier, and this one isn't even really like a conspiracy or whatever. I don't really think it's that. I think it's just really coincidental this time. Like, I'm not being ironic about that one. I think this is kind of just coincidental, because we had ourselves Nikita Kucherov actually start to skate again. And no, not the individual skating by himself that was reported a few weeks ago. He's actually on the ice for practice now, wearing a gray practice jersey for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Coach John Cooper said that Kucherov wore a gray jersey because no one likes wearing the red no-contact jersey. He said the teammates know that it's a no-touch zone for Kucherov, and he hasn't been cleared for contact. He's not going anywhere near light contact drills, Cooper said. And the reason why this is even significant, why Kucherov is coming back and skating with the team, why is everybody making a big deal about this? Well, it's because Steven Stamkos was put on the LTIR. And, yeah, that's kind of it. Steven Stamkos, the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, was placed onto the LTIR a few days ago, and his estimated timeline of recovery is going to be a few weeks, meaning that the cap hit for Steven Stamkos is no longer going to count towards the amount that the Lightning are restricted to right now. And that's a big deal, because, in theory, if the Tampa Bay Lightning put Stamkos on the LTIR, it gives them about $8 million-ish more that they're allowed to spend over the cap, combined with the fact that Jan Rutta is also on the LTIR for $1.3 million. If the Tampa Bay Lightning really wanted to, they could legitimately put Stamkos and Rutta on the LTIR, which they did, and recall Nikita Kucherov to start playing, because the money would align. 8.5 for Stamkos plus 1.3 for Rutta is 9.8. Kucherov's making 9.5. He would have the ability to come back and actually play if they wanted to do that. Of course, Cooper's kind of backtracking here and saying, oh no, he's not going to be in a contact situation. We're not doing that with him. So it doesn't look like that's going to happen, but hey, the fact that he's already practicing while still being on the LTIR is a pretty interesting thing for me, you know? Again, I'm not going to say I'm trying to conspire anything, but isn't it funny how the playoffs are supposed to start in like a month? And Kucherov's already out there skating with his team? I know it takes a long time for things to recover, and I know the surgery he had is a big deal, but still, the thing that I had a problem with at the very beginning still reigns true here, is that the Tampa Bay Lightning waited until the season began to tell Kucherov to get that surgery. Because strategically they know if the timeline takes X amount of months to recover, they would rather have him come back in the playoffs, where there isn't a salary cap, than have Kucherov come back a few months before and actually have his contract count against their cap and as a result be penalized because they're technically over the cap if they had everybody healthy and nobody on the LTIR. Isn't it crazy how it all aligns, how Stamkos goes on the LTIR, and all of a sudden Kucherov is back out there practicing with the team. You can say all you want about, oh, he needs this amount of weeks to recover, he's not nearly ready, but still, he is out there, and at the end of the day, he still has like a month to go before he starts playing again, which I know was kind of the plan. Initially, they always said the plan was for Kucherov to get back out there and play in the playoffs and not any time before. But he's already skating, like, come on, he's been skating by himself beforehand for the previous few weeks too. So, my own kind of rationale about this is, yeah, I know there isn't really anything that we can do. I know the NHL probably sees this and is like, yeah, well, they're kind of obeying the rules, which they are, and at the end of the day, they're still playing the 2021 season without Nikita Kucherov, and if things continue the way they are, it doesn't look like they'll be playing with Stamkos either. But still, all this LTIR stuff is kind of funny to me, and as a result, I thought it would be funny to make a video about it. Again, let's remind you about Patrick Kane. When Patrick Kane was injured in the 15 NHL season, the Chicago Blackhawks immediately afterwards placed Kane on the LTIR, and they got themselves Antoine Vermette and Kimmo Timonen, both of whom were pretty okay NHL players at that time. And Patrick Kane immediately afterwards would actually not be allowed to return, because if he did, the Chicago Blackhawks would be over the salary cap by a whole bunch, and because the trade deadline would have already passed, there wouldn't have been anything they would have been able to do, so Patrick Kane missed out on the rest of the regular season, came back in the playoffs, was a point per game, they had the support of Vermette and Timonen, and they won the cup. And so for Tampa, I mean, doing all the stuff that they did with David Savard getting 25% of the salary, 75% retained from both Columbus and Detroit, and now being in a spot where Kucherov is practicing with the team after Rutta and Stamkos go on the LTIR, giving them the opportunity, if they wanted to activate Kucherov early, to do that. And I'm making this video here just because it's funny to me. Again, it's not breaking any rules. They're technically doing stuff that's legal and within the NHL rulebook. It's just the context around it gives me a few laughs, that's all. The way things are going about, I would not be surprised if the Tampa Bay Lightning go out there and win themselves another Stanley Cup. They did it without Stamkos last year. Kucherov is coming back this year. If Stamkos takes a few more extra weeks off, then who cares? They won without him last year anyway. Tampa's already one of the top teams, and they did that without Kucherov this season, so I mean, yeah. We had some comments in the previous one, I believe, talking about how Nikita Kucherov is like a really big team player for actually going through with this plan, taking the surgery the time that he did, which would sideline him for the entire 2021 season, because we know, if you're a player as good as Nikita Kucherov is, you would rather play than not play, right? But the way things have gone down, if you're in a position where you're like, okay, I need to get this surgery, I have no ifs, ands, or buts about it, I'm going to get this, let's just do this surgery at a time that would allow the Tampa Bay Lightning to take full advantage of me not being on their roster while I'm in recovery. That's a big team player move right there. And you know what? You can say what you want about the cap circumvention, which I definitely have had my fair share of thoughts to say about it. But at the end of the day, Kucherov is still Kucherov, and whether he comes back tomorrow or in 3 weeks when the playoff starts, we know he's going to be great. We know the Lightning are probably going to be fine. So, stay la vie, I guess. Talk to me in the comments what you think about this topic. I hope you enjoyed this. Mr. Ashwell is 99. And bye.